Hello everyone and welcome back to Cute Crochet. My name is Sri and in today's video I am going to show you how to crochet this adorable axolotl amigurumi. It's super easy to make and perfect for beginners, and it's almost a no-sew pattern, only the tail is sewn on. It's a great size for a keychain. To make these, you'll need a light and dark version of the same color yarn as well as some black to embroider the mouth. You'll need some 4mm safety eyes and a blank keychain if you want to turn it into a keyring. You'll need some stuffing to stuff the amigurumi, and for tools you're going to need a crochet hook, a yarn needle, something to use as a stitch marker, and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. For the body, I will use the steel yarn. This is a 4-ply yarn, and with it I am going to use a 3mm crochet hook, which is a couple of sizes smaller than what is recommended for this yarn. It's actually recommended to use a 4mm hook with this. We do this so that our stitches are nice and tight and none of the stuffing shows through. We are going to start by making a magic circle. To do that, wrap your yarn up and over your finger like so, forming a cross in the front. Then insert your hook underneath the cross. Take the yarn from the other side and pull through. Then again yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Now remove this loop from your finger, and this is the magic circle that we are going to work into. Start by making a chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Then we are going to make 6 single crochets into the magic circle. To make a single crochet, insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. You will have 2 loops on your hook like this. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops, and that finishes 1 single crochet. Let's do it again. Insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now we are going to make 4 more single crochets like this for a total of 6 single crochets. After you finish making 6 single crochets, you can pull on this tail to cinch the magic circle completely closed, and this brings us to the end of round 1. At the end of round 1, we have 6 single crochets. This amigurumi is going to be worked in continuous rounds, so we need to mark the last stitch of the round. For that I am using a paper clip here, but you can use anything. You can use a yarn in a different color, or you can also get proper stitch markers. Round 2 is an increase round. For this round, we are going to increase in each stitch all the way around. An increase is simply placing 2 single crochets into one stitch. So, go into that first single crochet and make 1 single crochet. Then make 1 more single crochet into that same stitch, and that is our increase stitch. Again, into the next stitch, place 2 single crochets. Now into the remaining 4 stitches of the round, make increases, that is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. When you reach the last stitch of the round, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into that stitch as well. This brings us to the end of round 2. At the end of round 2, you will have 12 single crochets. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. For round 3, we are going to increase into every alternate stitch. So, into that first stitch, make a single crochet. Then into the next stitch, 2 single crochets. Then into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, then increase. Continue repeating like this. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase all the way around. Once you reach the last stitch, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into it. For this and every other increase round, you should be increasing into the last stitch, and if you are not, you must have done something wrong in your counting and you will have to recheck your work. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. At the end of round 3, you will have 18 single crochets. For round 4, we are going to simply place 1 single crochet into each stitch of the previous round, keeping the stitch count constant at 18. Now we are at the end of round 4. Go ahead and replace the stitch marker. For round 5, place 1 single crochet into the first 5 stitches. Then into the next stitch, increase. Again, 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. Into the next stitch, increase. Now repeat this sequence one more time. 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches and then increase. Like every other increase round, you should be increasing in the last stitch. At the end of round 5, you will have 21 single crochets. For round 6, place 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 21. For round 7, place 1 single crochet into the first 6 stitches. Then into the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat this sequence 2 more times. 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches and then increase. Again 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches and into the last stitch, increase. Like every other increase round, you should be placing an increase into the last stitch. At the end of round 7, you will have 24 single crochets. On round 8, we are going to make the arms. Start by making 1 single crochet in the first 8 stitches. In the next stitch, we are going to make a bobble stitch. For the bobble stitch, yarn over, then go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops only. Leave the last 2 remaining on your hook. Again yarn over, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop. You will have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2. Now you will have 3 loops remaining on your hook. Again yarn over, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Now you'll have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and that's our bobble stitch. Pushing it forward, make 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and this will make the bobble stitch stand out. This is one of the arms. Now make 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, a total of 5 single crochets between 2 bobble stitches. In the next stitch, again make a bobble stitch. Then make 1 single crochet in the remaining 9 stitches of the round. Here I'm at the end of round 8. You will have 24 stitches all the way around, including the 2 bobble stitches. For round 9, we are going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 24. When you encountered the bubble stitch of the previous round, you will have a slightly longer stitch on top of it. Make 1 single crochet like normal into it. I am going to finish this round and meet back up with you. Here I'm at the end of round 9, 24 stitches all the way around. On round 10 we are going to make the legs. Start by making one single crochet in the first 9 stitches. Then in the next stitch make a bobble stitch. Then make one single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Bobble stitch in the next stitch. Then make one single crochet in the remaining 9 stitches of the round. Here I'm at the end of round 8. You will have 24 stitches all the way around, including the 2 bobble stitches. At this point, I am going to put in the safety eyes before continuing. These are 4mm safety eyes. Start counting the rounds from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to place the eyes in between rounds 5 and 6, lining it up with the inside of the arm. We are going to place the second eye 3 stitches away from the first eye, lining it up with the inside of the other arm. I'll put in the safety backings before continuing. From round 11, we are going to start decreasing. Make one single crochet into the first 2 stitches. Then into the next 2 stitches, we are going to make an invisible decrease. For the invisible decrease, we are going to work into the front loops only. If you look at the stitches carefully, each stitch has a front loop and a back loop. Go under the front loop of the first stitch and then twist your hook around and go under the front loop of the second stitch. Then yarn over and pull up a loop like you normally would for a single crochet. Then yarn over and pull through 2, and that finishes our invisible decrease. Then into the next 2 stitches again make one single crochet. Then into the next 2 stitches invisible decrease. Continue repeating like this, one single crochet into the next 2 stitches and then invisible decrease all the way around. Similar to the increased rounds, into the last 2 stitches of the decreased round, you should always be decreasing, and if you're not doing that, you have done something wrong in your counting. At the end of round 11, you will have 18 single crochets. For round 12, make 1 single crochet in the first stitch. Then into the next 2 stitches, invisible decrease. Again 1 single crochet into the next stitch and then invisible decrease. Continue repeating this sequence of 1 single crochet and invisible decrease all the way around. At the end of round 12, you will have 12 single crochets. At this point, we are going to stuff the body. Make sure not to overstuff. For round 13, we are going to decrease into every stitch all the way around. I am placing one finger on top of the stuffing to keep it out of the way as I work. At the end of round 13, you will have 6 single crochet stitches. Cut the excess yarn, leaving a long enough tail for sewing, and then fasten off. Then to close up the hole, I am going to weave this tail in and out through the front loops of all of the stitches of this round. Then when you pull on this tail, it should close up the hole nicely. With the help of a yarn needle, bring that tail through the center of the hole and then out through the top of the head in the center. Leave that tail hanging there for now. We can use this tail to sew on a keychain. For the tail, we are going to start by making a magic circle. Then chain 1 to start and make 4 single crochets into it. After making the 4 single crochets, pull on this tail to cinch the magic circle completely closed, and this brings us to the end of round 1. We are going to go ahead and mark the last stitch of the round. For round 2, we are going to increase in every alternate stitch. So start by making 1 single crochet into that first stitch. Then into the next stitch, make 2 single crochets. Again 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Then remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into the last stitch of the round. This brings us to the end of round 2. At the end of round 2, you will have 6 stitches. Now go ahead and mark the last stitch of the round. You'll notice that your work will start to curl up on the wrong side like this. To flip it to the right side, simply push it on the other side using something blunt like a pair of scissors or the back of your crochet hook. For round 3, make 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. This brings us to the end of round 3. If your piece gets a bit misshapen like this, you can again reshape it in the same way. Go ahead and mark the last stitch of the round. For round 4, make 1 single crochet into the first 2 stitches. Then into the next 2 consecutive stitches, we are going to increase. Then into the remaining 2 stitches of the round, make 1 single crochet. This brings us to the end of round 4. You will have 8 stitches. Go ahead and mark the last stitch of the round. For round 5, make 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Here I am at the end of round 5. This is the last round for the tail. So slip stitch into the next stitch and then fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for sewing. Stuff it with the tiniest bit of stuffing. Next we are going to sew on the tail. Place it along the center back of the body, making sure that it is even and so that the curve of the tail is facing upward. Then where the yarn tail is, go down into the body and then up where the next stitch of the tail is. Then go in through the next stitch of the tail. Then go back down through the same hole that we came out of and then come out near the next stitch. Then go in through the next stitch of the tail and then back down through the same hole and then out where the next stitch is. Continue like this all the way around the tail. Once you have gone all the way around, come in to the base of the tail and out through any one of the sides of the amigurumi. Leave that yarn tail hanging there for now. For the gills, I am bringing in my darker color yarn and I am wrapping it on my crochet hook like so. I am going to join this yarn in between round 6 and 7 and I am going to go one stitch away from the eye. Insert your hook under that stitch and make a slip stitch into it to join the yarn. You can pull on this yarn tail to tighten the join, then chain 3. Slip stitch into the first chain and this will make a picot stitch. Then I am going to slip stitch in between rounds 5 and 6, one stitch away from the eye, directly above where we made our first slip stitch. That's the first gill. Again chain 3. Slip stitch into the first chain. Then slip stitch in between rounds 4 and 5, directly above the last slip stitch. I am going to repeat this once more. This time slip stitch in between rounds 3 and 4. That's it for this side. Cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a little bit of a tail for weaving in. For the other side, again wrap your yarn on your crochet hook like so. This time we are going to join in between rounds 3 and 4. Start counting stitches from the first set of gills. I like to count these holes in between instead of the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go underneath that stitch and make a slip stitch to join the yarn there. Then it's the same steps as before. Make sure to stay one stitch away from the eye as you work. The tail is similar to the gills. Wrap your yarn on your crochet hook like so. Then we are going to join the yarn on the side of the tail in between rounds 3 and 4. Continue making picot stitches up the side of the tail. The third picot will lay at the tip of the tail. Then go over to the other side and make 2 more picot stitches down the other side of the tail. Once that's done, cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a little bit of a tail for weaving in. To weave in the yarn tails, bring 2 yarn tails from the same side out through the same hole. You can use your crochet hook for this or a yarn needle. Then tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails. Cut the excess yarn and hide the knot into the body by pushing it in using the back of a yarn needle. Repeat this for all the dark yarn tails. Next, I am going to embroider a smile on top of round 6 in between the two eyes. For that, I have separated out one ply from my 4-ply black yarn and I have taken it on my yarn needle. So, coming from the back in between rounds 5 and 6, don't pull the yarn all the way through. Leave a little bit hanging at the back. Skip the next 2 stitches and make a straight across stitch along the same row. Then come out in between round 6 and 7 in the middle of the straight across stitch. Then go under the straight across stitch and then back down the same hole. Come out the back of the amigurumi through the same hole that you came in. This will create a smile. You can fiddle around with the shape of it until you're happy. Then tie a knot using these two yarn tails. Then cut the excess yarn and hide the knot into the body by pushing it in using the back of your yarn needle. Now I am going to attach a keychain using this yarn tail on top of the head. Take it on a yarn needle, then go through the jumping of a keychain. Then go back down through the same hole and out anywhere on the amigurumi. Then go back in through that same hole and out through the top of the head again. Make one more stitch through the jumping of the keychain to make it extra secure. Again go back in through the same hole and this time come out through the same hole as the last remaining yarn tail. Then we are going to tie a knot using these two yarn tails. Then cut the excess yarn and hide the knot into the body by pushing it in using the back of your yarn needle. And that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.